So, how you doing? Hope you're having a good afternoon. It is indeed afternoon here. It's what, 1:30? 1:30 here. It's going to be working on a gift for my mom. Going to be making a couple crochet hooks. She has a style that she already likes. It's kind of like a, well, I mean, you'll kind of see it, but um, yeah, it's a pretty simple, straightforward shape. I'm trying out a different process of how I go about making them in the first place. So I'll have to get well, first thing I'm going to do is get the blank, right? Got the blank, and then I'm going to do a center start on one side, and then I'm going to drill into the blank itself, and then I have a pretty long mandrel, and the intent of that mandrel is to hopefully make it so it'll be able to be sanded on the back end, because that is one of the more complicated things of turning and determining how you're going to actually hold the piece once it's shaped out and everything. So hopefully this will be a pretty good one. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to get right into it. Need to change a couple things right quick. Need this to be a four draw chuck. Actually, there's not really anybody here yet, so I suppose I can just do it over here. And that will be okay. So that, get this going. Space. Oh. Alright. This will be the side that I go ahead and drill. Hey, good morning. How you doing? I did receive the package, sir. I am not sure why it is the way that it is. The only thing I could think, and I guess the other question that I have was it like that when you received it? Because I don't think that's how it went out, but I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what caused that in the first place so I can avoid making that kind of mistake in the future. Yeah, but you're absolutely right. The threads aren't catching how they're supposed to at all. That's unacceptable. But yeah, I should have time this weekend to take a look at that, probably tomorrow, and actually make well, potentially make a new part. But yeah. Because that's definitely not how it's supposed to be. But today, working on crochet hooks for my mom. Her birthday is today. I'm going to be doing a couple crochet hooks. She's really good at crocheting. Very talented. I have worn the there's a tentacle hat that I've worn out here like once or twice or something, but it's kind of funny. She made those for for Christmas, and then it was like a Dirty Santa thing, and then I wasn't able to get it, so I had a special request for her to make me one anyways. So she did, and she made one for Abby too. So it's pretty fun to have that. I remember having an issue initially, and then happened to I've been fine. Yeah. The one of the things that comes to mind is I wonder if it is. I don't know what it is. It is possibly the heat, the temperature of the blank, if it got too hot when I did it in the first place, or if it got too hot when it got sanded. We do try to keep them nice and cool. That's why we wet sand. And that helps keep the material nice and cool. But the other part of that is that it's because it's so thin, it can heat up still. Oh, there it is. But yes, package received. And we'll get that remedied quick, fast, and in a hurry. No, I don't think I've mentioned since you've been here actually is the new personal life development stuff is gonna be, well, maybe I did. Did I tell you about the fire department? I don't know if I did or not. But anyway, I applied to a fire department to try and be a little bit more part of the community in general, the local community, and the hours are, you know, firefighter hours. They're pretty nice. So I think it'd just be pretty cool to be able to do that, and you only have to be an EMT basic, so that's kind of cool. Kind of like the idea of like a less responsibility when it comes to that in particular. But I'm at the phase now where I went and I talked to the person, I sent my resume, they gave me a call back kind of thing. They're interested, or they were interested in my resume, and I went and I did the physical test, and then now I have an oral interview coming up next week, middle of next week. So pretty cool. We'll see how it all goes. It's kind of crazy because the place where I took the test was in basically my backyard growing up. So I lived next door to my grandfather, and he had like 32 acres, and lived right next door. Well, I grew up right next door to my grandparents, so that's pretty cool. And then, yeah, basically took the test in my backyard. Kind of crazy. Bill you for the repair? No, sir, I can't do that. That's not on you. Can't do that. Oh, yes. Splendid. I love it when things work out you want them to. Boom. Okay. Makes a lot of sense with my military background. Yeah, I also have an associate's in personnel recovery, and then another associate's in education. So it was actually one of the more exciting things that I thought about was being able to go to the different schools and talk to the kids about the fire department and having that whole get up and stuff. So that just seemed kind of fun to me as well. I remember when I was applying for the physician assistant program from the military, I tried to well, my SAT rather. I went and took the SAT. I was like 24 or 25 at the time, and I was taking the SAT with a whole bunch of, high schoolers, like 16, 17, 18-year-olds. It was a time. It was a time. But yeah, there was like 100, 200 people doing their SAT, and I was just this old guy that was doing my SAT because I never took SATs when I was in high school. I went to a private Catholic school, and they're like, yeah, college is not your destination. So I'm just kidding. That's not what they said. Okay, let's see. So I got to get a general shape profile kind of thought out here. So these are the blanks that I'm going to be. Oh shoot. Diane gets to watch too. Awesome. That's fun. That's fun. Welcome. Welcome. But here are the blanks that I'm going to be making. So these are going to be Susan Bates crochet hook handles. I've got the hooks over here. I've already drilled out the little hole. This is my mandrel that I'm going to end up using. So Susan Bates, my mom really likes the 5mm and the 5.5mm. And apparently she was talking a little bit over my head when it came to the different types, but when it comes to the different crochet hooks, some of them are sharper to make it easier to go through, and then also the edges on the inside are a little sharper too, so it's kind of interesting to learn about that type of thing. But they're both, well, I mean, they're going to go here and here, basically. This one's going to that one, and this one's going to this one. So that will be what's happening. And I just need to get a reference mark for the line, or for my markings, to see how far I'm going to end up going. Because I certainly won't be using the entirety of this blank. And then Abby also said she'd come out and be a part of this this stream, which is fun. It's not a usual thing for her to come out and be a part of those. But this is my mark, so I obviously need to go a little past that. But the goal for these is to actually try out a different sequence, as well as this little brass rod. It is a 5mm brass rod, or brass tube, that I cut. But yeah, so if you're thinking about the handle itself and how you hold it, and that's why it's important for me to see how somebody is holding something, because when you're holding like a crochet hook, let me just go ahead and put a hook in there so we can. So if somebody's holding it like this, I'm pretty sure they'll do it like this. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard because I don't know if people hold it like this, or like that, or like so, using their index finger to kind of point, or I don't know what you do with your thumb, but trying to think about how the handle is going to look. So gonna have to take a look at the previous iteration that I have done for her and see what she had said that she liked. And I asked if she wanted like a thicker one or what, but yes. Let's see. Did you see the Bic fountain pens? Or the Bic, not Bic fountain pens, the Bic ballpoint pens I'm working on too. These are pretty fun. I'm waiting for her to send me a reply. You'd use it like a knife. So with your index finger, probably something like that. But it's flat, perpendicular to the hook. So if the hook is on this plane, there's flats on left and right here. So it's probably like this, if I had to guess. I tried to get pictures of her holding it, and she's like, I hold it all kinds of different ways. Like, well, that's not helpful. And she's like, just watch. Okay, I'll watch. But yeah, it is such a simple thing, but I still want to do it as best as I can. Alright, well, that's not actually all that useful. Kind of has like an elongated teardrop shape. And like that. So we're going to do something slightly different, I think. Or maybe they like going off the edge. I don't know. Worst case, I make another one, you know? And then you're pinching it down here, so this part should probably be smaller than up here where it should kind of spread outward. If you're thinking about it like that. Maybe I'm overthinking it. It wouldn't be the first time. Okay, so here to here, we're going to actually mark it again. This will be where I cut it, or separate it. Okay, I'm going to turn Morty on, so it might get a little loud. An Operex. I've thought about that. I have a like a little sliver of Operex that I can make like two simple things with. Simple, relatively thin. It's not big enough for a fountain pen. Alright, just kind of peeling out a little bit so I can see where we're actually going to be going with this. Hey Vinny, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Okay. So that feels right. Hey, yeah, we are. They're on spring break, ready for them to go back to school. Definitely ready for them to go back to school. They just sit there doing nothing. And so Abby and I have to come up with something for them to do all the time. I don't want them just sitting there on their devices. So I've got them practicing making or sanding pencils. I'll show you. She moved them. But, you know, the simple, you know, the real basic pencils that I was doing before. But I have them sanding them. So they'll probably need a little extra effort, but it gets them out there of focusing on something for a little bit. They'll work on that attention span, you know? A jet wood lathe, yes sir, it is a jet. I'm just gonna go with this regular. Are you in the market? It's starting to look like a carrot. This is the Jet 1221. Yeah. All right. Now that's a 5. So if it's 5, where? Fine. Just use. Oh dang! Diane thought it would cost 8,000. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are some lathes out there that are very expensive. Very expensive. We're at 9.5. We're gonna drop it down a little bit more in the front here. But hey, how about that? When I first got started with turning, everything combined was, I think, like $1,500. I mean, obviously over time we've accumulated a couple lathes. I've got a metal lathe. I've got a bigger bandsaw, you know. But it really, to get going, it's not that expensive. The biggest thing is spending the time to get comfortable with turning. But I do think that there is I know that there's a Discord link in my description of this video, but I don't know if it'll absolutely work. Yesterday we were trying it and it had a couple issues with the link not actually working. So if you have a Discord and want to join the Maverick Workshop Discord, I think I'm gonna use that as a way to communicate with individuals, like a more like an individual kind of basis where people have specific questions, and then obviously you'd be able to communicate with other people. But I just think that would be a more advantageous way of communicating with people. So it's coming off the way that it is because it's vibrating on the inside. Yeah. That was a nice smooth one. Well, we're just going to make it the same shape she already liked. That's what we'll stick with. So since it's not $8,000, do you have the green light? But I'm pretty sure when I got this, it was like $650, and I'm pretty sure now it's like $750. But the amount of things that you can do with it, with the lathe itself, is pretty awesome. So it's starting to cause those ripples like that because this has a little bit of movement inside. So we're going to alleviate that. All right. Hard to take more on? I hear you. I hear you. It is definitely one of those things where you got to put a decent amount of effort into to see some progress. But I'd say when you have like, I don't know, I think I could probably get somebody turning really quickly. And then it's a matter of how to turn different things. And it's different setups, really. But the basic setup is pretty inexpensive. You can also probably find a lot of stuff secondhand. I got a Turnecraft Commander lathe with a ton of pin kits that came with it, a lot of wood blanks. That all costs, it was like $550 or something. But he was just trying to get rid of it, so. Here we go. That's better. That's better. Not fantastic, but better. Let's see. Try to drop the speed a little bit. Let's see if we can smooth that out a little bit more. Was that a mandrel I took out? Yes. Lots of people online think their lathes are made of gold. Yeah. Yes, this is the mandrel. So my thoughts with the mandrel itself is I'm going to be able to support the back end, but also I put a little barometer. I don't know. But what I need to do now is take this part off, and then I'm going to put a cone on there for sanding and polishing. And then hopefully this will be sufficient to give it inward pressure to actually finish the back end. But yeah, we'll get the other one to this point, and then it should. Yeah. There we go. These were both drilled the same. Yeah. What you been up to, Vinny? Yeah, you could get a heck of a setup. I mean, for 8,000, you could probably get almost my entire setup. Trying to get all your casting done before the real heat kicks in. Man, it was cold. It was just yesterday, actually. It was kind of chilly in here in the morning, so we kicked on the heater again, and then later on, definitely turned it on. Okay. We'll slope out this taper here. This one looks even more like a carrot. $84. That's nice. No, that's kind of hot. That's kind of hot. 74. That's a magic number right there. The good old days of using neon, and then you end up with the pigments. Abby's changed her ways of doing those, so you don't end up with the pigments the same way anymore. Chunk right there. I need to take that out. Is she coming back? Dang. All right, how are we looking now? The shape, profile, this needs to be a little bit more in here. Ryan, what's up, man? Yeah, it has been a little bit. I think I've only chatted with you once since the Turner's Expo. All right, and then we're going to work on a backup. Let's see, this one. All right. Over on my metal lathe again. There you are.
I'm not done.
What do you think? It's backwards, Goober. It's not a pen. Crochet handle.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Be funny. Here you go. Hold those. Hey James, how you doing? It's fine. Just see it. Feel it. It's not a pen. Stop doing it.
Well,
like
I don't know how
nobody
to
does it
hold
like
I
that.
don't crochet.
Do it this way.
I've never crocheted anything ever.
Just imagine a string that you have to thread through another string. Okay. So how are you going to finish them?
I'm not even have to finish that. Like I can finish most of it like this, but you still have to take this off.
That's why I've got this.
What?
Well, you'll be able to put. Yeah, we'll be able to do it that way. Well, yeah. Let me take this part off. You don't need a chuck. Yeah. Let's actually back this up a little bit here. All right, you're gonna need you'll need a live center, and then you'll need a Jacob's chuck over there. I'm gonna go ahead and take this part off. All right, we're just gonna work it down to where it's nice and finalized as possible, because this last little bit needs as little. Well, my goal is to have it need as little love as possible. Reduce the speed a bit here. Okay, so the other little thing that we're going to be using here is what's right there. The washer go. There it is. So Abby is going to do the sanding like so. So this is going to go into this live center, and then there's enough buffer to do all of this, and then once all of this is done, this will be in a Jacob's chuck, and then a little bit of pressure will be applied to do the back end here. Yep. That's just the way it is. We could put a piece of tape. Actually, let me see that. Let me see the, yeah. About a little thing of tape. Doesn't need to go very, what? Yes, I can. Okay. Broken tooth. Alright, I'm trying to give it a little bit more girth on the back end here. So just doing one layer. And then cutting. That agree. Checking my knife, I guess. There we go. Hey, Heather. There we go. That'll be good enough. Give it just a little bit. Come on now. Get in there. Well, some of it's going. Have to ream it. It's going to get all glued in. So I'm not overly concerned with the inside part. There we go. There we go. All right. We'll do the other one. Is that to stabilize? Yeah, it's to give it a little bit more meat to help the inside of, well, to help the rod be a little bit thicker, so it would actually hold it or help hold it when it's unsupported, and then not just let it free spin. Round this off a little bit. There we go. That one went a little nicer. I'm going to peel back. So the reason I like to peel back a little bit here is because this part will often break, and you don't want it breaking on the side that you're trying to smooth out. You don't mind it breaking on the other side, so I make sure that it's a little bit longer, and then I want to make sure that if it does break, it breaks on the side that I don't need it on. While maintaining the shape. That'll do. Like that. So that'll just get sanded down. Boom. Or you could use like a little chisel and get that off. But you don't really want to flex it back and forth, because that can cause a different problem. So use a file here. Nubbins. Little nubbins. Almost. There. How's it going? Do you have it in the correct orientation? Shouldn't be wobbly.
I mean, it's not, but just the ring is.
It's backwards. Stabbed it. You can use how it is.
Yeah, you gotta get tight enough to actually be able to stand it.
Yeah. Well, we aren't doing the other way of it, where we have it supported on the other end, you know? So, this is kind of the way around that. A what? Yeah. Different finial. Lollipop. Okay. This will also need to get opened up to 730 seconds, which there's no shortage of those drill bits around here. I use 730 seconds for the diamond painting pins. So one of the crochet hooks is a 5mm, and then the other one is a 5.5mm. And so I just drilled them both the same for the mandrel itself, and then I will open the other one up just a little bit more. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'll use the same thing that we're using to support it. I'll put that on the tailstock and it'll free spin. I'll make contact with the drill and then I'll just advance it until we get to the depth that we're going for. So it kind of turns your head around. Once I learned that little trick, man, it was pretty cool. I've used it for quite a few things actually now. It is spinning true. Okay. It made it seem like it wasn't. Well, even the washer now is.
I don't like this sort of having to take it off.
Well, we're only making 2. And this is a way to do do it that way. We don't have a closed-in. Well, I mean we do, but we don't have the right diameter. If you didn't know, there are closed-ended mandrels like this. I'm pretty sure this is too big. But there are closed-ended mandrels. Yeah, it's too big. That what you do is the piece will go into here. Or yeah. This will go over the top. And then the way that it works is you'll tighten it down. And then it causes this little rubber piece to expand on the inside. And it flares out, and so it holds it like that. You have to push. I didn't say it was perfect. Oh, it will work. It'll work. See what may come to it? Let's think.
Like it's not actually cooking.
Let's see. We need to expand it somehow. Even more. This is the thing with doing new stuff, huh? Go over there. Here.
I don't have a seat anymore.
You can switch to cam view.
My stool is gone. I have to stand all the way over here.
Yeah.
not my normal spot. Hey everybody, how are you guys doing? It has been a very long time since I have been on here. Man, we just get so busy. And it's not even technically our busy time of year. We did get past all of the holidays and birthdays, which are all at the beginning of the year, plus the California trip, which was so fun, but that throws me off our schedule for like forever. So I'm not quite ready to start gearing up for the summer, which is pin show season. And I know that a lot of our pin friends do way more shows than we do. Because, you know, I don't know. That's what we can handle with having 2 school-aged kids and essentially running, you know, our diamond painting business and the fountain pens. So fountain pens currently are like at the show only, but I need to get back in the headspace to do both. We've been doing some fountain pens here and there, some commissions and customs and stuff like that, but it's time to get a bunch done, and I need to figure out what I'm going to pour for DC this year. Hello, Gerald. We did get your pen. John, I think he's going to have to make a new cap for it. I have no idea what's going on in between finishing it and it fitting correctly and getting there, or whatever that's making it fit incorrectly, but we're going to get that fixed up or remade. This is part of why I keep some of our extras of our blanks and we do stuff like that. But yeah, DC the last 2 years. Is this going to be our 3rd year? Yeah. Last 2 years I've done cherry blossom, very, very pink and blue cherry blossom. So John said something about that we should do cherry blossom every year, but like make it different. I don't know that I necessarily want to do that, but I do have an idea of what I want to do that is going to be different, but still kind of cherry blossom themed for DC. A little bit more neutral in color than the baby blue and bright pink, but yeah, so I need to pour those, and that'll be good. They're over there with the gel and the resin. No, on my thing. It's in one of that box. Yeah. John's still trying to figure out how to make it not slippy over there. But yeah, we got to start getting in the mood for that and getting some of the other stuff listed. So we're doing 3 more shows this year. We've got DC, and then I'm going to San Francisco again, and then Orlando. We do already have our tickets for Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando because they opened that up like last month. Do I enjoy pouring the resins? Yes, I do, but it is a whole thing. I know I'm nowhere near some of these casters that just, I can't even imagine the amount of blanks that they pour, like Jonathan Brooks and what is it? Turnt Pinko. Name's Tim, isn't it? I think Tim Pro. They do crazy amounts. They do a lot of collaborations with some of the big companies. And there was a point towards the beginning where I was like, okay, I could definitely go blank maker routes, and I still probably could, of doing kind of my own style. But I found that when I was doing that I greatly disliked repouring the same thing, because for me it's very much like a art form creativity. It cramps my style if I have to remake something, because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist in trying to get it. And resin, like, is never going to be the exact same again, ever, no matter if you're using a recipe or not. So that was my issue with trying to go like that route, or at least I just didn't want to at the time. I found that my joy in making blanks is doing exactly what I want to do. like color wise and style wise and all of that. So it also helps that for me, I can make something and then, you know, John turns it down and we can see what it looks like prior to making pens. Because I also have like the fear of sending blanks off and then people being like, I don't like the inside. You know what I mean? Do you keep a recipe card for them? No. I've never once written down anything ever. I guess that's part of why I can't be a remake things blank maker. Although I am fairly good at my old blanks. I can usually look at them, tell you what I called them, tell you what mica, what pigment, whatever that I put in them, which is crazy because at this point, wow, okay, let's see. Well, I have to math, and this isn't even gonna. This is gonna be a low ball on how many. But I've done probably over 400 to 500 different colorways, is what I call them, over the last 6 years. So we have a lot of blanks. I have done a lot of blanks. I have remade ones and successfully had them turn out pretty much the exact same. But yeah, that's part of it being, it's a joy when I get to do what I want with it. And I'm lucky that I get to. But yeah, John has multiple times been like, you should write it down. And maybe I should, but that's not fun anymore. So, and I don't know how people do that anyways, because I'm sitting there like deciding as I'm like mixing colors and stuff and putting all my powders out or putting all whatever I'm going to put in a blank, like laid out, of writing. Like there's no way I can write a recipe card while I'm doing it because I'm covered in resin. That, yeah, it is a lot. It is indeed a lot of different colors. John always has to be like, okay, what was this one called? There are some older ones at this point, and I'm like, not as good on the names. It's been a while, but most of them I remember what I named them. But yeah, I don't know. I get in moods with blank making where I just don't want to because it's a mess. Because I'm a mess. I get it everywhere. I have to like take all the clothes off that I care about and put on, you know, things that it's okay if they get resin on them. To take my shoes off and I have like a pair of resin slides. So yeah, I'm just a kind of a mess in general. It's like the whole organized chaos is how I go with blanks. So for our diamond painting pens, I'm not the way that a lot of the big blank makers do their pours. If they're doing the same, you know, color, but they need a ton of them, they have a whole lineup of pots, and they have like cups of the different colors in front of each pot, and the molds that are going to go in each pot. And kind of instead of doing it all at once, it's like a sequence. You know, you do these, put them in, do these, put them in, like that. Because with resin that we pretty much all use, the working times maybe 15 minutes on like a cooler day, but like you don't have very much time. So that like the max amount of
which one were you on?
One.
What?
Yeah. The max amount of molds and stuff that's gonna fit in one pot. I don't know. How many of the bespoke molds? 12? Would 12 even fit in there? No. 9, maybe. We usually put 4, maybe 5 in there at once if I'm doing it like that. But because we have 2 pots and I just don't work like that, especially for our diamond painting pens, I pour those all at once. And it's like 48 blanks or something, 50 blanks. I pour all of those at once, and it's a pretty decent like bucket size. I don't even think we have the size bucket that I use, but it's a lot. I pour a lot of resin at once instead of doing this whole staged thing. And I do that because I want them to turn out as similarly, like for each blank, as possible. because of the way that we do kind of our releases. And fountain pens is similar. So yeah, it's mine is usually a under pressure kind of mixing, trying to get it all in before it's too hot. And yeah, so we also have like a smaller, you know, workspace in general, but I do know that that's an option if I ever want or have to do that. But yeah, it's fun. I always tell people I'm in charge of the pretty colors. And sometimes I get in a funk. It is kind of crazy having come up with like 400 different colors and themes and whatever and names them. Like that kind of blows my mind because I don't usually think about it that way. I do pre-plan colors that I'm going to do. I have like a whole list in my phone that's got different blank ideas that I will pull out of the hat if I'm not like inspired that week. Do you ever make glow in the dark or 80s colors? Yes, of course I have. Let me see if I can. I know where one is. I actually, so John hates the glow in the dark, and I don't blame him. It turns very differently, which is why some people avoid it or they've had issues with it. I don't know if I have any more of my really cool neons. It's been a while. But yeah, I've done quite a few different colorways that either have glow in the dark or lots of UV reactive like black light colors like neons, which are also a pain to work with. So this was it's like black and white swirled with neon colors. Done lots of glow. They're pretty cool. Did you teach yourself to trial? Yes, I did. At the time when I started, I don't think like Jake Thompson, I don't think was posting anything yet. Who's the other one that does Resin Works, which I never. I thought it was Resin Works. Jake Thompson's different, and then anyways, I am blanking on the name at the moment. But those two, which are major YouTuber, you know, blank makers and mold makers and stuff, they were not on YouTube at that time. When I started, the only one video, which I have both talked to David Big Boot and Jonathan from Carolina Pin Company. They did a collab video where David brought like a picture that he wanted the colors of, and Jonathan walked through the process a little bit, you know, kept his secrets to himself, of course. So he kind of just did it on camera. That's the only video I could find at the time that was relevant, that was people were doing the vertical pin blank molds, because there were lots of people that were already pouring resin that were doing the block molds or the square ones that are flat, and it is a completely different technique to pour in the vertical molds. So yeah, I went from there with lots of trial and error, lots of error. We definitely learned from both of our parts from making mistakes, and we both had a hard time at the beginning trying things because we didn't want to mess it up, because clearly, you know, like you don't want to have a loss of materials and you don't want to mess stuff up, but we definitely did. And that's just kind of how we learned. And there's a lot more information available now. Zach, yes, thank you.
Yeah, Zach Higgins.
That's right. I don't know why I can never remember that, but yeah, that was the video. I've told them both that, and they're like, yeah, we get that a lot, that was the only video. And you know, at the time, Jonathan was like the blank maker, you know, and he still is. He's still like just at the top of all the blank making, and kind of started most people off. But I loved his blanks more than other things I saw, but I knew that I didn't want, like, I was never in it and have never ever copied someone, like seen it and be like, I'm going to try to do that. I do enjoy looking at people's, you know, things, as any maker does, and like try to figure out how did they do that. and I feel pretty confident most of the time when I can figure out how they did it. But that's not something that
Let me have the other one.
Oh, good job. Are you just gonna sand and polish all of it?
Yeah.
Where is it? Oh, here you go.
Yeah, I'll do it.
So I half polished this and then John finished it. Ooh, he got it to stay. Got the butt shiny.
I used a drill. Well, a drill. I used
You threaded it.
a cap.
Yeah. You threaded the
Which
inside.
I've done in the past, and just hoping I didn't have to.
He has to. But anyways, yeah, that video is infamous. They have said that lots of people come up to them and tell them that they've seen that. Within the pin community especially, there's a lot of sensitivity around supposed copying or some like actual copying. So for a long time after I started, so like I was trying to absorb all the information, learn, figure it out, and then I stopped looking at other people's stuff. Like I didn't look for any of it. I was on a different Instagram. That's part of why like I'm never on the pin Instagram. Very rarely. Shows, yes, but like other than that, I don't. Everybody's inspired by everybody's other, stuff that's coming out, but I don't want that to influence what I'm doing or what my plans are. So and there's always that little bit of like hoping that it's not like what somebody else is doing. But I don't know, I feel pretty confident in my style being different than what everyone else is offering at the time. Now there are more people that make a lot more blanks that are, the style that I have done over the years, but it is what it is. And that's how we've always felt about it. Like there's a certain level of community and there's like a certain level of competition, both in and out. So it's like this, I don't know, line. And I think that goes for pretty much anything, but because the pin community is so small and like when you go to shows, you're going to see all your friends. Like that's how I feel now going to shows, which makes me much more comfortable in doing shows on my own, like traveling alone as a woman and staying in a place I've never stayed in and all that stuff. The way that most of the shows are, you don't really have to leave the hotel one if you like don't want to. But also all the people that are there and that, I don't know. I love that. I love that about the shows that I get to go and see everybody. So it's a fantastic community. The makers are great. But yeah, there's always drama, which is hilarious considering the group that the makers are. It cracks me up a little bit. That Discord, I get notifications all day, every day. But yeah, they're I don't know. They're fantastic. Really great people. But anyways, I don't remember what I was talking about. John's over there sanding, which he never does. It's going so good. Ooh, good job.
Thank you.
But yeah, I'm knocking into all of John's stuff. Any other questions? So I don't keep rambling. Are they? I guess so.
Set that standard.
John is a let's say his thoughts out loud, his train of thought or whatever. Was it stream of consciousness?
You can get my ducks in a line.
Apparently I don't have a stream of consciousness. There's two types of people that hear, like they're just thinking, they hear their voice in their head all the time and have like a constant, and then people that just like think something and that's it. So John gives me a lot of crap about that.
Emptying.
Well, one of us did really well in school and one of us didn't, but that is different in real life. Obviously, he was very successful in all the things that he did. But it is funny. We joke a lot that we are just like so so complete opposites on almost everything. Doesn't happen as often now when John will be like, would you pick this or this? Because like 90% of the time I'd pick the opposite of whatever he picked, not knowing. But we know each other pretty well. We were talking about it, and we met about 20 years ago at this point, and I have known him for more than half of my life. And we'll be celebrating our 15th anniversary this summer, our wedding anniversary. So basically, I know everything about him. I don't know if he said, but it's his mom's birthday, and that's why we're making crochet hooks.
I don't make them enough to have a good.
No, we've made her crochet hooks, and I'm pretty sure that's it. It looks really good. Look how good it looks with its little. So the way that these particular hooks are, I don't know, y'all probably don't see them, but I'm gonna show you anyways. Is each size, there we go, comes in a different color. Like there's no variation in that. Like this is always gonna be that color, and that's always gonna be that color. And so I picked blanks that I thought looked really nice with the particular size. This one's the 5mm, and this is 5.5, which John is doing. And his mom is a brightly colored lady. So makes sense about the influence of seeing others' pores. You can't really tell what it looks like without turning it. Absolutely. It's the same thing as the whole don't judge a book by its cover. You really, most of the time, can't judge a blank by what it looks like on the outside. Mine, because I use a lot of translucents, I use, a lot of like glitters and stuff. Most of the time from my blanks, I can tell what they're going to look like. Fountain pen blanks are a little bit different because I don't often do as much translucent, or I definitely don't do like my chunkier glitters that I do in the diamond painting pens. So a lot of those, especially if it's like a solid thing, once you turn it down, it can look so dramatically different. John's got some blanks that are like half turned down right here. I'm trying to. Anyways, so ones that are solid colored, which is a lot of what people use for fountain pens for a good reason.
There's some oil right there.
Well, I don't really. Dark colored. Yes. Anyways, so this blank is partially turned down right here. So you can see this is what the outside of the blank looked. And a lot of the times from the outside, you can't see how much it's like swirled on the inside. I don't really even need to make it oily, but like this one turned out pretty similar to the way that the outside and the way that the inside turned out. But there are ones, my pastel prisms especially, those can turn out so different from the outside because you just can't see all the little detailed swirls in them. And that's where the beauty in resin and maker fountain pens is that even if you poured all of them at the same time, even if you've made hundreds, thousands of them in the case of Jonathan, as far as like his same blank, same colors, it's going to turn out different every single time. So every single pen truly is like a unique pen versus mass-produced materials that are not touched by human hands that turn out, look the same every time, which is fine. I understand that too, like needing to have it all look the same, but I think it's definitely more fun to have a variety. And I love when I do like sets for shows. When I do sets for shows, we typically do about 10 pens, 10 to 12, of like a themed pen, like a show pen. And I did a very similar, this actually might be it, that I did for the California Pen Show. I made a Cali After Dark is what I decided to call it. That's the body of it, and then the cap was like a more translucent color shift. But every time when people are coming in, like they know that they're gonna come pick one of the show pens, they want to look at every single one and compare, and this one has more swirls of the white and this one has more of the color shift, and and all of that. And I think that's fun. I think that makes all of them unique. So yeah, I'm excited about the colors that I'm going to do for DC. I don't know what I'm going to do for San Francisco. Probably a lot of stratified for sure. And maybe some more of my ebonite pins that I had a slight like I don't know how to talk about that and not make it. Anyways, I was really excited when, I don't know if y'all remember or have seen the ebonite that I did, the lacquered. I thought they turned out so cool. I was really excited about them. And then there was like someone made me feel really bad about it. And it was completely unwarranted. And what they were referring to that I copied, I had never seen. It was posted once like 5 years ago, and I had never seen it. So it was that weird edge of being like, well, can I keep doing it? And then I thought about it more and looked into it and talked to some other people, and in general got a consensus that I absolutely, what I did was not even close to what I was being told I copied. But yeah, that definitely, I'm a very sensitive person. I don't do well when people aren't nice to me. So that absolutely like tanked me wanting to do more of them at the time. But I need to spend more time on it because they're really cool and no one else is doing it. But anyways, I'll probably do some more of those because the ones that I did previously did all sell in mostly in California. So I know I want to bring some of those, some new fun ones. And I'm really kind of loving the ebonite. I love those pins. John made me, how many birthday pins did I get this year? It was like 3. 2 or 3 because it was 3. I have a whole ebonite one, and then I have the 2 that are one Kappa ebonite, one of the stabilized wood, and then the opposite or something. But I really like those. I really like the feel of the ebonite. I think it looks really nice too. Ooh, so pretty. Here we go. Oh, it doesn't fit. John has to still throw it out. And then we got to glue them in. We talked about these, of like making them
in addition to,
well, like replaceable, or like people being able to take out the hook, but then talk to his mom more especially and realize that we don't want to do that. Like it should be a forever, this is what this hook is, unless it's a specific, there's a set from Penn State where I'm not even showing, that has like a interchangeable different hook size, and we did gift that to his mom as well previously. But yeah, cool. It turned out great. Look how pretty this one is. This mermaid.
This is what I use.
It's what we used last time too.
Yeah. It worked.
Yay, birthday present.
It didn't work like I wanted it to. Oh well.
But yeah, crochet hooks. Just finished up this week's 40-something diamond painting pins. Let's see. I've had some disappointing pins that look completely different than what's advertised. Yes. The Cinder Esterbrook's had a lot of color variations. Hi, Kevin. It's been forever.
He lives.
Yeah. Gerald. Yeah. And that's hard when people are doing batch ones and they're only showing the best of a particular batch, which I think happens a lot with these, not all, and I don't know who, collaborations where they have a blank maker make a ton, and then they just show off a small set of how some of them turned out, or like the best ones, and then people buy them, they're like, there's literally not even this color that is in like the ones in the picture, and that, I could not handle that. I would be like freaking out that people were disappointed. But again, I'm sensitive. Oh, Kevin, we missed you too. It's been, John didn't stream for a really long time.
It was a couple of weeks.
Seemed like forever. we did go out of town. I don't know. Had a million birthdays. That's actually what we were just, John was finishing up the crochet hooks that he made for his mom's birthday, which is today. So we're going to give them to her tomorrow.
All right, which one's the 5-5?
This pinky orange one, which is UV reactive. I do bring a little black light to shows. So sometimes when someone's like looking at something, I'd be like, ooh, look. It also is UV reactive in case you go to, you know, a rave and need to bring
it's
your
like
pin with
glow in
you.
the dark for people that never drop their pin.
It is glow in the dark is cool, slightly gimmicky because like you're not gonna write in the dark. I mean, like if it's on your desk and it's gotten sun, then yeah, it'll glow. But I don't know. We do it anyways because it's fun. Your new job sucks and work more and have a crap self-awareness. Oh, that sucks. That's a bummer. You definitely have to have service to watch us on YouTube, of course. But yeah, we've I don't know. It's a time. The kids are at an interesting age. I'm trying to get them. We had spring break this week, which we originally were planning to go on a trip, or at least me and the girls were. John didn't want to go. But then that got canceled. So then we were just doing our regular work all week. So now my job will be to glue, to glue these in, which is always a dangerous game. Always. Every time I have to use CA, it's like, is it going to work? Or am I going to have to refinish the whole thing? Because that has happened a lot of times.
Anybody need a 1-inch drill bit?
There's an auction place near us that I very briefly got super kind of obsessed with because you could get things for like a few dollars. And they're all basically Amazon returns. Sometimes it's a crapshoot. I got a few things that were like just didn't work or broken. I bought a spool of PLA filament for our printer and opened it up and it was just the spool. There was no filament on it. So, but John, for some reason, wanted these giant drill bits and he bid on like a couple of them and won all of them because nobody else wants those giant
I didn't
drills.
win the first one. So I was like, fine, I'll go with 2.
You have a giant one already? For what?
I don't know. Bowls. I'll probably use it to
all the bowls that you make.
bore out a bowl a little bit.
You've only made
I made you a lot of bowls.
You actually have.
But yeah, there we go. There they are.
They look good. She'll be very
in the future,
excited.
Just use a darn tap.
Yep, or it's slippy. It doesn't work.
And then you can build like a little stopper on it too. Like a darn big. Oh, I've got a stopper. All you gotta do is drill the same hole, and then you can screw it on, and it'll stop it.
Nice.
It won't let it advance further. Anyhow. Perfect. So yeah, there they are. There's the crochet hooks. Hope everybody has a good and safe weekend. And Gerald, I'll take a look at those components.
Yeah.
And then we'll get that resolved quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Yeah. Gotta run. All right. Talk to you
perfect
later,
timing.
Gerald.
Perfect timing.
Good talking to you, Kevin. So good.
Kevin,
you came in at the
Gerald,
end. But
Brian, hope you all have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time. What?
And weekend.
Oh yeah, good weekend as well, for sure. Take care.
Bye.